Many entrepreneurs dream of building a successful business, but few of them ask the most important question. Did I build a business or did I build another job? Today's guest is the creator of the Hamster Wheel Trap, best-selling author of Your Business Sucks, and founder of Freedom Expert. He's logged in over 60,000 coaching hours, helping businesses across 5 continents and successful entrepreneurs get untrapped by the very businesses they created. And he knows how to get you unstuck. It's the bottom line. Let's welcome Peter Boolkah to the show. Peter, so good to have you here, sir. How are you, man?
I'm very well, thank you, and so much for having me today. I'm so looking forward to
mine,
this.
Man. Pleasure's mine. I'm excited about this, man. Now, one of the things as an entrepreneur as well, I think about is, we have these idealistic mindsets of something we want to build, and we're like, you know what? We eat it, we sleep thinking about it, we wake up thinking about it, and it dominates our entire lives. And then sometimes we find out that we built another job as opposed to a business. Where are most entrepreneurs, Peter, getting off track? Because conceptually, the idea might be great. It may meet a need. There's some point in the journey that we're getting off track because it's happening to so many entrepreneurs. There has to be something wrong here. So where are entrepreneurs getting off track and going from building a business into building another job that they find themselves trapped in years later? What's happening there?
Day one.
Day one.
Okay. It goes wrong. Day one. You think about it.
Wow.
You have an idea. You start your business. It's true. Listen, it's the trap no one talks about. No one talks about this. Yeah, go start a business. It's a promised land. My backside is a promised land. You start day one. You are by yourself. You don't have anyone else working with you. You got no cash. You struggle to feed yourself. It's you, me, myself, and I. I'm head of sales, head of marketing, head of finance, head of HR, head of delivery, head. What are you doing from day one? You are training the business to be totally dependent on you. You are creating the habit of dependency. It's like being on drugs, except you're not getting paid for it.
Wow. All right. We're coming out of the gate. I like it. So you built your entire body of work, I believe, around this powerful question. Yeah. Does my business work for me or do I work for my business? How do you think you're helping entrepreneurs best with avoiding the kind of the wrong side of that question? What are some things that you've been able to share with entrepreneurs who are watching and listening to this show? What do you think?
Yeah, look, one of my favorite sayings happens to be, God created man in his image. Now, if that to be true, then every founder has created the business in their image. And they can only do what they know. And you think about it, people go to school, people go to college, some go to university. And then they get education fatigue. You tell me what study most entrepreneurs do when they go into business.
I don't know of a study. They might read some books here and there, might join a master class, but study? Yeah.
If they do that. Look, 40 years ago, you could have been a dumbass and been in business and made money. And the reason for that was the world was really slow. It wasn't complicated. There was none of this social media, nothing. It wasn't instant. Look at today. The world's crazy. I mean, we got wars everywhere, geopolitical tension. I mean, it's a madhouse. Do you not think today you have to be an expert at business to be able to navigate it? I'm not sure what it's like in the US, but in the UK, 80% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. 80%. Listen, if you want to get out of this trap, you need to learn business first and foremost. There is no other way. You've got to study the art of business. And a lot of people say to me, hey, listen, I can't read. Fine. Listen, you have YouTube. We have your channel, damn it. How many different ways of learning are there?
That number's the same in the US, man. 80%. That sounds just about what's been going on here too. So no questions on that one. What's the hamster wheel trap, Peter? Break that down for us. What's that?
Okay. So we talked about the trap. Day one, you start your business as a trap. But it's like a poor man's trap, okay? You put little money in, you got nothing to lose. So you work the 18-hour days, a lot of passion and all this stuff. Now, if you're really lucky and you make it to year 5, you've now got something to lose. If you get to year 5, you're probably making some money, right? So all those years of sacrifice, what are you going to do by year 5? You've had all these years of sacrifice. Maybe you buy a house, you upgrade your house, buy a car, upgrade your car, start a family. Maybe if you're lucky, you hire a person. You've now got overheads you need to really facilitate. And the problem is probably 80% plus of the revenue is still generated by the founder. Now the founder is trapped because if they stop working really hard, what happens to your revenue? It goes down. If the revenue goes down, you cannot make your financial commitments. You can't honor your financial commitments. You're in trouble.
Peter, is there a part of this where, and this is something I just think about, and this show is basically you going to the mind of Mr. U, where I have strange thoughts and strange questions, and you help me answer them. So here's one. Is there a part of this process where the business owner has to trust somebody else with his vision, his or her vision? Because I feel like in most cases I've seen, or I've even coached people who had issues like this, the bottleneck was them. They were always the bottleneck in the business. They were, if Bob had to make the burgers, he also did the plumbing, he did customer service, tech support, he answered customer inquiries, he put out the ads. If Bob gets sick, Bob's Burgers is in trouble. So is there a part of that you feel like the business owner has to learn, among other things, to entrust their vision to somebody else, or is that something you don't really agree with? How do you feel about that personally?
100%. But before they can even do that, they need to learn, number one, how to systemize and process their business, because their business will normally operate in chaos and mayhem. You can't bring a person into your business, into chaos and mayhem, and set them up to succeed. You're setting them up to fail. But the other thing is, you please tell me, how many business owners have actually learned how to recruit, learn how to train people, learn how to manage? Very few. So guess what happens? And you must forgive my language, sir. They create this bullshit narrative in their head that they're the only one that can do it, because they've never trained or hired the right person. So they say, I'm going to do this, but it isn't going to work. Well, guess what's going to happen? Your wish is my command. Exactly. It's not going to work.
Exactly.
Then they believe forever that they're the best person. They're indispensable. Well, I'll tell you something. Be indispensable. But when you get into your 50s, if you have a stroke, my friend, your business is gone.
Absolutely. That leads to my next question, man. Great segue, Peter. You started your career off at McDonald's, if I understand that correctly.
Yeah.
And if anybody doesn't know the story of McDonald's, I mean, I'm not recommending that you go there to eat healthy food. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not advocating that. If you watch my show, you know better. But what I'm saying is that you started your career at McDonald's, and I know for a fact, without even having just met you, I know that you learned two things at McDonald's. You learn the power of systems, and you learn what happens when you have consistency in work process and workflow.
Yep.
What did that experience teach you, Peter, about building businesses? So maybe perhaps entrepreneurs that are watching this right now can learn from that. What did you learn about building businesses for McDonald's?
Well, I'll share a little secret with you. When I worked in McDonald's, I took it for granted.
Wow.
Because I didn't know anything else. So I was introduced into this system. I thought it was normal. It's only when I went into privately owned businesses, I was absolutely shocked, horrified, and mortified. Look, what did it teach me? Is you got to make your business boring. You got to make it repeatable. You've actually got to make it easy for other people to follow. There's no point everything in your head. People can't follow with what's in your head. So systems and processes are the most important thing. If you want someone to buy your business, they're not going to buy your memory. They're going to buy what you develop, what you process, what can run without you, not what can depend on you. So yeah, for me, it's absolutely critical. But unfortunately, again, that's another thing they don't teach you at school, college, or university. They don't talk about systems and processes.
I have multiple degrees, and I can't recall learning some of these things myself personally, for sure.
No.
Pete, I don't know if you feel the same way about this, but it just feels like, It's weird because I know people can find some exceptions, but I feel like the best businesses. I don't mean that being at the top of the Fortune 500 or having the most income valuated. I don't mean that per se, but the best companies, I feel like the owners know how to get out of their own way. They recognize what they can't do. They recognize that it's better for them to staff their weaknesses, and things just run better for a longer period of time at a productive rate. But that's not what we see the majority of the time. And I don't know if I understand why that is, but we don't see that very often. What do you think is the key to real reproducible? I'm sleep deprived. Sorry, real reproductive growth in an entrepreneur and in their business, scalability, things like that. Because there have to be some answers. Because people, where I come from, I'm from New York City originally. Hustle is what I learned. I'm living here in South Carolina, and I hear about more hours, more time, overtime, saying yes to everybody instead of saying no to some things and yes to some things. What is your answer for the entrepreneur who's watching and listening today or will watch it on the replay? Real reproductive growth in their business and even in themselves, perhaps. What would you say to them?
You need to learn. You need to learn the skills. Remember, the business is a reflection of you. You don't know what you don't know. You can't do what you don't know. That is a problem. So you need to learn this stuff. Very few people will do this intuitively. Most people that have got out their way have learned how to get out their way. They've learned how to do the recruitment, the training, the systemization process. They've created the environment for them to be able to step out and let other people succeed and take it further for them.
I love it. So we know that, at least the entrepreneurs that I've seen, and I'm in year 30 now, so I've seen enough, I've got enough context. Most entrepreneurs I know, they're chasing revenue. They're chasing the greenback, they're chasing the bag. What would you say is a way that you would suggest, if you could only encapsulate it in a couple of sentences? How does the entrepreneur who's watching, listening today, establish real value in their business that lasts? And that's not just a passing and fancy or revenue this year and you bottoming out the next 5 years. How do you establish real value in your business as an entrepreneur?
You got to create a business that has a team that doesn't rely on you and doesn't need you there all the time. It needs to be able to operate independently of you. But I want to touch on one thing you said earlier. You know, the only one thing to do is grind, yeah? Hustle.
That's how I grew up, yes. But
yeah,
I'm
you know,
now.
where do you think you got that? Where do you think you learned that from? Who told you have to go and hustle?
I learned it from my environment.
Yeah,
it wasn't my mother's example. I learned from my environment.
Same with my dad. So my dad told me.
Yeah,
that was a rubbish. My dad told me, if you want anything in life done, you've got to work really hard. You know what? That was the worst advice he ever gave me. He never said to me, do you know what? Go and learn the skills. Go and learn this stuff. You can do it far quicker, much easier. No, go and work hard. I worked hard like stupid for 20 years. And that's the problem. We tell everyone go hustle. Well, everyone says, okay, hustle means I'm just going to work my backside off. Fine, do that. But you're not getting anywhere. You're getting to the level of your incompetency. You need to get beyond that. Wow. You need to learn how to get beyond that. And that isn't hustle. That's being smart. That's working in an educated way so that you play by the rules of the economy. Look, the economy only knows two things. It rewards competence and it punishes incompetence. We've got to go on the others. We've got to be on the competent side.
Absolutely. That's good, man. All right, final question for you, Peter, and we'll close the broadcast out for today. We always end this show with what I call the mirror check segment. So, Peter, for the entrepreneur listening today who realizes they become trapped inside the business they created, what is the very first uncomfortable question they need to ask themselves before they get to regain their freedom? What are they asking themselves when they're looking in the mirror, Peter?
Okay. What would happen to my business if I had a stroke and I couldn't be in my business? Hey, listen, you wanted a hard question. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Everyone says, oh, heart attack. Forget the heart attack. Good modern medicine, you can be up and running again in 14 days. Stroke,
it's true.
you'll be cognitively impaired, visually impaired, motor neuron impaired, verbally impaired. If you cannot communicate with your business for 30 days plus, what have you got to go back to?
Very good, sir. Very good. I got your link up on the screen. Let folks know real quick what they're going to find when they click on this link, man. What are they going to find there?
They're going to find the book.
Your
Get
business
the book.
sucks.
This
Oh,
is where you start.
I love it, Peter. Thanks for being here, man, and sharing so much of your incredible story and your insights, man. Powerful stuff for the entrepreneur. Hopefully they have ears to hear it, man. Thank you for being here and doing this.
Hey, thank you for having me.
The pleasure's mine. If this episode resonates with you guys, share it with a business owner, entrepreneur, or a leader who may be successful on paper, but exhausted behind the scenes. Sometimes the biggest breakthrough isn't working harder, it's recognizing what needs to be changed. Subscribe to They Call Me Mr. You on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast from. And of course, the difference between who you are and who you're going to be is finding what you do every single day. That's Peter Boolkah. I'm Mr. You. Thanks for watching and listening.